Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to tea leaf readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, let's just get right into it. Why don't we? I hope you're well. Things have been hectic over here. Not in a bad way, though. Starting homeschooling with my daughter. So I'm super excited about that. We have faces. We have masculine faces really showing up here. We have one here. We have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You can see if we pull it out, kind of this like almost like a Y. The ears are here, kind of the head here. We have what looks like a face right here as you turn it. We have the eyes, we have the nose, we have the little mouth right there. You can kind of see like it's like resting against what looks like a tree to me right here. Okay. Older masculine energies. We also have, it looks like maybe the name Joy or the word Joy, Joy. Okay. I'm happy to see that. Come on now. We all need a little joy in our lives right now, don't we? So we have that. We have the number 30 up here. And I immediately get the feeling that these are like not your dad. Almost like an uncle, a friend, like friend of the family. But it's not just like one dude. It's like two dudes. And they might be around still. They might be hanging out in the neighborhood still. It feels like, these are like chosen family. Not maybe blood family. It could be though. But it feels closer than just like some acquaintance, like your parents used to work with, or you went to church with them, they became family, whatever. It doesn't feel, not that that's, nothing. Of course, that's very important, these kinds of relationships. But this one feels like somebody you see a lot. Like, you live in a small town. It's like the homies that you see walking down Main Street every day. They're hanging out at the lick. They're at the gas station talking about fishing, right? They're on the block sweeping the sidewalks, hanging out, barbecuing in the summer. Out on the street there. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of that like real throwback small community. These are people like, you're not going to like let your kids go off with them or anything, but they were around. They're around and honestly they didn't like immediately, this is my mind. I'm like, are these like weirdos, like, is this a bad energy? It's not. It doesn't feel like a bad energy at all. It actually feels almost kind of like, I don't know, like maybe you went back home, you saw these, you saw them, they're like still hanging around your parents' house area. Very specific. I know. It feels like a very specific thing, but, there's some wisdom in there. I honestly think that this is like, I don't know if you're going and you're communing with them, you get in a conversation, they drop a jewel on you, you know what I mean? And dropping a jewel, if you don't know, that means somebody like a revelation, a little nugget of divine knowledge, something that gets you thinking, that gets you doing the math, right? Doing the science. And it could be something like that. It could be that this is how I look at people that are kind of these, we call them outsiders, although oftentimes they're way more involved in the culture than we are, or involved in the local scene more than we are, right? So we call them outsiders, yet they seem more linked in than most of us because they're observing, they're existing, they're doing their thing, right? They're just out there being what they are, who they are, experiencing the world in that way. And I feel like this is kind of, to me, like drawing forward the archetype, not of the fool exactly, but it is akin, right? This is the traveler. This is the, not transient in the way that like you might be unhomed, right? And you perceive yourself as being unhomed, or others do. But this is like somebody who wanders with purpose, but without purpose at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they're existing. They're chilling, they're showing up to life just by lifing it up. Not worried too much about all of the details, but somehow eking it out. Right? And there's some kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I envy this kind of, rambling, wandering, walking the earth kind of energy. Absolutely, I do. So I think that this is kind of a reminder, right? I think about this kind of configuration, this, somebody who has eyes to see, ears to hear, they don't necessarily reject society, but they reject playing the roles within society that others expect of them, right? They get to choose. I'm going to be whatever I am. I don't care if you think that's fancy or not, I'm just out here living. So this is a good energy, a good reminder. Okay. Now, do we all drop out of our lives and kind of just wander around? Get it if you can, right? Get it. But it is a reminder to temper ourselves. And I don't mean tighten up. I mean, sometimes we need to loosen up a little bit, right? So I think that this is really kind of that energy. Now, this feels so love. Like there's just so much love in it. It's kind of like that little reminder, that little permission that sometimes we need to kind of slow down a little bit. Cancel some of that stuff. Go a-walking, go exploring, go meandering a bit. I promise you won't regret it. You won't. You can't, right? Everything's happening. When everything is happening, you don't have to think too much about what else is going on outside of that, right? So I think it's like this real lean into our own center, the center of our own lives, right? And just let things kind of go for a little bit. Now, I might be catching like supreme summer vibes already. It is sunny today. I can't wait. I got up super early so I could do my work, which is this, and then I can homeschool with my daughter. We're going to work in the gardens today. I'm really hoping that we can get to a point where we're producing at least, I don't know, maybe a 50% of our, at least like for 2 seasons of food. Like I'm just getting started on canning and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I've been making stuff from whatever I have for many years. My whole life I was always, kind of figuring it out. And that's all led up to the last like 10 years of, really getting into, I won't call it homesteading because we're not homesteading, but we're definitely rural, right? We're rural. We're trying to become a lot more self-sustained. And we just started the homeschool. So I'm just so stoked, you guys. It's a lot of work, but it's like all work I want to do. Isn't it weird when you go from doing stuff that you just you know you have to do it. It's like how we're going to survive the world, and we got to do all the things and jump through all the hoops and do the little dances and, sign the things and blah, 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 sucking my soul apart, thinking about all the paperwork that I've done in my life. And then you start realizing it doesn't always have to be all of that, and I fully see that I'm in a place of privilege right now. And I see that because it's in contrast to living in poverty for 98% of my life. You know what I'm saying? The other day, somebody said something to me about, I don't know if it was like kind of an underhanded, well, it must be nice you have the means to do what you're doing. Yeah, it is nice. And guess what? Like, not even that long ago, like barely right before COVID, I at times was like living off of a thing of ramen a day. You know what I mean? Just so I could afford all the stuff I needed. Like, I really actually, like, therapy, right? I needed to do therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I absolutely have been, like, super poor. And maybe I will be again. I don't know. And I'm not trying to use the word poor. Like, I can say it because I hate that I even have to qualify it. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, but here's the point, I guess. I don't know. There's no point. But I feel guilty a little bit, I guess, where I'm at. But at the same time, dude, I am, like, raising myself. I am raising somebody that is going to be self-realized, hopefully, and so, like, self-sufficient, and not afraid to, like, just do the things she wants to do. And that's all I care about. That's what it comes down to. So I feel really privileged, and I don't know. I feel like I can't talk to people in my private life about it too much, but, like, just because everybody has an opinion, and I don't want to hear all of everybody's opinions about stuff, to be quite honest with you. But I have to say it to somebody. I'm just excited. And I know it sounds it probably sounds braggy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to brag. But I'm also just stoked. Like, I'm stoked for myself. I'm super stoked for my daughter. That's the big thing. I'm just geeked out for her right now. Like, so anyways, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying sorry again, you guys. So, I know I said I was going to hold myself to not apologizing constantly, but here we go. So we're outside of the norm here. And these faces, they remind me of, just having the bravery to say, I don't want to live like everybody else, dude. And I think that that's the big theme for a lot of us right now, isn't it? Like, guess what? The lie was a lie all along. Like, we knew it was a lie, but now we know it's, like, for real, for sure, a lie. Like, the dream does not have to be that dream. It could be whatever the dream needs to be, whatever you want the dream to be. And that's something... That's something really yummy. We have LAM, which makes sense, right? We have a lot of, I think we're getting more and more just direct, apparent communication with whatever intelligences we perceive to be, like, ultra-dimensional macrobes, these interdimensional intelligences, and I don't know what all of that is or what they are exactly, but I know that there are things that are, like, highly intelligent. They're not human, at least how we perceive humans to be. You know, if you access them, obviously, like plant medicine is one of the big things that people use. Fungi, right? And other chemicals and stuff. But it's not just through these portals, right? More and more we're experiencing high strangeness, right? What is that? Like weird, like supernatural type experiences, feelings, dreams, things showing up in our homes, on our, you know, in our land, we might perceive them visually, auditorily, through divine inspiration. It is happening, I think, more and more and more with people, not because, and this is my opinion, not because people are, or there's more of it necessarily. It's always been happening, but I think the tight grip we've had on what consensus reality is and is not is loosening by the moment. The further we get into these ideas, and one of them, you know, in the sciences is the quantum, right? We get into these ideas of these complex systems and, you know, how they kind of, you know, work into each other, right? They assimilate into each other. They layer over each other. They are all bound in together, right? And we're starting to see these systems, I think, in ways that we were unable to before. We didn't have the models. We didn't have the understanding of, you know, the variables and their interactions. And we still don't really. But I think the more that we're expanding our understanding of not just the material and the physical and these kind of, you know, modern sciences, right? We're seeing them blur into all of the old things. And we're seeing that religion, spirituality, these belief systems, these social tenets that we carry are reflections of these same systems. They are one and the same. They operate within each other. They are the same things, right? And I think that that is allowing us to perceive, you know, things like, and Lam to me, right, if you, or Lam, or however, you know, is a famous entity, right? Not to be confused with like ayahuasca or whatever, but a stream of consciousness, a revealer of sacred knowledges, and, you know, all of these kinds of things. Also, maybe a gray, I don't know, maybe a gray alien, who knows? I'm not sure. Go look up the pictures. But to me, it doesn't necessarily reference this particular personality or entity, but just the idea that there is the ability to really interact with these things. And you can do it through ritual. You can do it through prayer. You can do it through active imagination, through, you know, there are many techniques. So I do feel like there's this real sense of like, easing up in your life, accepting these roles of being less confined to an idea of how you should be living, stepping more and more outside of other people's ideas of life or the world. And I see you really like from the chest, man, opening up and really starting to have these kinds of interactions in a way that feels not only powerful, important, beloved, but also real. Not like I'm going crazy, what is going on, I don't know if this is real or not. It's now not to say everything you experience 100% this is truth, there's no other truth. Don't go down that road either. Please temper yourself on that side. Do not look for any kind of empirical truths in these in-between places, because babe, there are none. Everything is made up. At the very deepest level, everything you've ever done, thought, experienced, it is made up. Made up. And that is the real place that we are trying to get to, where we can understand that is fully the only truth. Everything is made up, and it's built off of sensation and impression and reorganization, right, of information. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that you're the magician, babe. You're the architect, babe. You're the one that creates your whole reality, right? Now, you can't control every single thing that goes through there, right? Because you're not the master of the infinite abstracts and fragments and stuff. Maybe you are. I don't know. If you are, call me up, right? Hit me up. No, don't call me. I don't answer my phone. Hit me up. My email is in the description. We have things to talk about. But chances are, no, you're not necessarily accessing that part. You know, that's like some maybe ascended master. I don't know. I'm not there. But what I do know is that we're the masters of our own destiny. We just really have to like take on the responsibility of building our world out. Now, we can do that also with the information that we are receiving from the divine, from other entities, from our meditations, our inspirations, the universe, like feeding us synchronicity and pattern after pattern, right? And we become aware of these things, and we become, what's the word? We become so in tune, right? We become so in tune with the greater flow, the greater, I mean, if you think of it as that old kind of thing of the you know, setting yourself upon the river, the creek, the waters, right? And like a little leaf, you're just kind of floating through life, letting go of this need to control everything while at the same time constructing your own reality. How does that work? I don't know. We're figuring it out though, right? Relinquishing control while also being the ultimate, you know, creator. Not the ultimate creator. I should say builder, or, you know, artist or architect, however you like to look at that. We also have, it looks like, the number 84 up here. We have what feels like somebody with an A name as well. And this is somebody who likes to joke around a lot. They like to joke around a lot. I think that there's also this real feeling of almost like spending so much of your life being like, and I'm looking down here, we have this like pack animal here, being the person that's to carry everything for everybody, right? For your family, you know, maybe your friends group, your, you know, at work, you might be the one that ends up doing all the stuff. You know how everything works. You know how the ins and outs, you're the one everybody comes to. I just feel like you have reached a point in your life where you're just not interested in having to fulfill that role. Like, you're ready for somebody else to like kind of step in and take some of the responsibility. Now, I think that this person, the A person, it almost feels like they're somebody who you really can laugh with, that you can like spend time just kind of, you know, talking, hanging out, making light of like all of the just the onslaught of stuff, you know. And I feel like you leaning into that relationship is super important for you during this time, because it really feels like there's a real deep reconfiguration of your being. You know, I think that you're getting to that place where you're being brave, you're making some definite decisions to change aspects of your life. And that, I mean, that feels super scary, but at the same time, I feel like you're confident in it all. Like, you're not afraid to, like, be like, okay, this is not working. The way that I've been living, the, you know, people in my life, this job, whatever it is, I'm not afraid to change how I'm doing things to, like, benefit you in a way that supports, I think, probably a more spiritual and in tune life. I think that's really the focus for you. All right, let's do some lucky numbers here. Number 85. Again, 85. Number 11. 85, 11, and 85 again. 85 3 times, you guys. Whew. No, go this way. There we go. 79. There you go. There you go. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here with me. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, please take care of yourself. We'll talk soon, and goodbye.